I used to be an international student, and I understand moving abroad is a big problem. It is like changing culture, emotional trauma, and saying goodbye to your house plans for a very long time. After long flights, immigration checks, and the chaos of navigating a new city, the last thing you would want is a comfy bed. So today, we are tackling one of the biggest hurdles, helping you find a place to call home, a safe place to make memories and stories with housemates while you stay at as a student. And to help us navigate this, we have a very special guest, someone who knows the ins and outs of student living better than anyone. He's been a lifesaver for me during my year at Yugo. Please warmly welcome the residence manager at Yugo Student Accommodation, Jack. Thanks, Jack, for coming to this show. We are glad to have you here. What I would like to hear a lot of things from you, and you can just introduce yourself to the audience and tell us your experience working as a residence manager at Yugo.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, my name is Jack. I'm the residence manager for Yugo. I've been working for Yugo now since January this year, so it's been about 7 months so far. Yugo is a great company to work for, definitely one of the best that I've worked for so far. Before Yugo, I was a accommodations manager at Colchester for homes for students. So this isn't my first property. I've got quite a bit of experience under my belt that I can help share for everyone.
Thank you, Jack, for sharing your insights and your experience as a student accommodation manager. So you have seen it all, and we have also seen that you genuinely care about the students. So let's dive right into the overarching question that the students might have, particularly the international students. So, Jack, every international student thinks about getting accommodation sorted early, and you also understand that there are some few extra steps for the international students, such as the visa compliance or the flights or they have to move to a different country. So in short, it takes some time for them to sort their accommodation. So according to you, how many days or months do international students can realistically expect to book their accommodation?
International students, there isn't too much of a difference from international and UK students. So best thing to do is just to have a look on the website, have a look at availability, look at choices. Again, it's probably going to be a year of your life, so it's important to make sure that you're happy with the residency, you're happy with the room you've chosen, because it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I would say best time to book would probably be between January to April, because that's when the next academic year starts to open for bookings. Earlier that you book, the better chances you have of choosing the room you want, choosing the people that you want to be with. So if you've got friends that you want to be with, you can choose to be in clusters with each other. So definitely the earlier, the better. Depending on the accommodation, they can fill out really quickly, or they could have rooms to spare. So it is all accommodation based. So in Crispins house, for example, we've got 684 rooms. So that's quite a big site compared to most. So we've always got rooms available, whether it's students wanting to, give up their room, change their mind, and a lot of accommodation, such as you offer things like if you don't receive your visa, then you get your tenancy cancelled for free.
As you mentioned, the earlier the better during the January to April session. But in my experience, I received the university offer letter at mid-May. So you can understand the procedures besides getting the offer letter and the visa issue. Took me some time to come here. In that case, what would be the ideal scenario for the students? Is there any vacancy required, or we can just come and call Yogo or the reception for any sort of vacancy if there is anything available?
Yeah. So you can have a look, and you can have a look at the website. So the website says exactly what rooms are available and what rooms aren't. It's always good to contact us in person, so whether it's a phone call or an email, so we can actually give you up-to-date prices, we can give you room options, we can tell, because Yugo are quite good, we can actually offer you, different floor levels, different views, whether you prefer to face east, west, north, south, courtyard, roadside. So we can definitely cater to the students'
Yeah.
needs.
And the website also has the real-time tracking for the rooms available as well. That makes easier for the student to understand. So yes, that is quite useful, I believe, and I think any time of the year when they are trying to book in to any of the accommodation, it's best to go to their website, and if there is some sort of confusion, they can directly call to the reception or to the team or send an email to just to check the availability. That's very kind of you, Jack, for sharing that information. So another thing, when once they're ready to book, there is a general procedure, of course, that we have here at Yogo as well. So a big concern for many international students is the issue of not having a UK-based guarantor, as the guarantor is required by Yugo or other accommodation. So can you please explain how they can bypass or the alternative for an international guarantor?
So, to be a guarantor for most student accommodations, the best one that we prefer is obviously a UK-based guarantor, just because it's easy for us, it's more secure, it's safer. A lot of accommodation, including the Yugo, it is property dependent, but they do accept international guarantors, so that is possible. Otherwise, the third option is to have a guarantor company, such as one of them being House and Hand, which we use quite a lot. So it's a company-based guarantor. So you pay them, like a small fee, and in return they become your guarantor. So there's no need for, a UK-based guarantor or an international. You can just use a company. So there are three options around, having a guarantor.
Yeah, that is absolutely a very useful information. I'll just put some link of the guarantors that you mentioned, how they can secure one of the UK-based guarantor after paying certain fees. I'll just link those things in the description after talking to Jack. I think this is quite useful for students staying in any accommodation or from in the perspective of a property manager, you would also want to be secured in terms of collecting the rents from the students. So that naturally brings my next question. There are some payment plans available for most of the student accommodation. Can you please give us a brief idea of how the payment plan might work? Because I understand paying upfront the whole year's accommodation fee might be a bit difficult for many students. So, what are the alternatives in this situation?
So what Yugo offer, well, what some Crispins offers, every site is a little bit different with how they do things. Again, you've got the full payment, which is good if you can do it, but if you can't, then there are other options. We do the four instalment option. So you've got to pay the first 4 weeks of rent up front before you move in, because Yugo don't do any deposit systems, so it's a 0% deposit, and you just need to pay some advanced rent beforehand you move in. So we ask for 4 weeks up front, and then the other three instalments are split over the year. Say you're on student finance, and say your money comes in on the 10th of January, we can then change your payment plans to match your student loan dates. So it makes it, a bit less stressful for you students. So rather than thinking, oh no, my rent is due before my student loan comes in. So it's quite easy for us to change it, so that's possible. Say you've also got a part-time job and you get paid monthly. There is options where we can change your payment plan to pay monthly as well. But obviously you need to show us, ask us why you want it to do monthly, because we prefer not to do monthly, just because it means a lot more admin for us, a lot more rent chasing, a lot more, bits and bobs. So, but it is still an option nonetheless.
I think having that flexibility gives the students a set of respite in order to sort their finances and the due date of the rent payment. So I think with that, let's talk about the types of room available at Yogo. What are the room types offered in this accommodation? And actually, what you would recommend for single students versus students staying with their friends or their partner. So sometimes website information can sometimes confuse new international students. So it would be great to hear from you, Jack. What are the options available for the students?
So we have 10 types of rooms here at St. Crispin. Again, every site has different variations of rooms, different types of rooms, different styles of rooms. Most accommodations have a variation of en-suites and studios. So en-suites for Yugo, you can't have dual occupancy, so it's just for one student. Again, ensuite, just like the name, it's just, bed, desk, and bathroom. So it is very much more like a hotel kind of vibe. You do have a communal kitchen, which you share with the cluster. So en-suites are definitely more for social students who want to, meet people, find friends, and not be alone. Whereas studios are a lot more, I wouldn't say isolated, but they're a lot more, it's your own kitchen, your own, fridge, freezer, your own space. At St. Crispin's, we do have a lot of social areas, such as the karaoke room, the pool tables, the social spaces, like the seating areas. So we do have places where students can go to socialise. We do events as well to kind of get people active and meeting new people. So we do a karaoke thing at the end of every month where we order pizza. People can come down, sing or not sing, just play pool, fun, stuff like that. So it depends on what you prefer, en-suites, studios. Both have their benefits and perks. It just more so depends on the student and what they prefer. We've got 10 types of rooms at St. Crispin's. We've got deluxe en-suites, which are our biggest type of en-suites, all the way to standard studios, which are our smallest. Same with, I think I said sales en-suites, and then we've got studios. We've got the standard studio, which again, smallest, and then we've got the premium plus studio, which is the biggest and the best, top floors, etc. Price is very dependent. Again, studios are quite a bit more because you get more for the price. But other than that, the main price difference with en-suites is just the floor space. Everything else is exactly the same. You just get more space to fit your stuff.
Right. Got it. For the extroverts, it's the en-suites, and for the introverts, it's the studio. But then again, they
Pretty
can
much.
always intermingle in the process, like Jack said. A student can have a fun night at the karaoke, or they can play pool, or watch a cinema here at Yogo. So, Jack, let's talk about the move-in day itself. What practicalities should the students know about when they arrive? What are the formalities that they could expect to fill out beyond their initial booking? For instance, when I moved in, my student ID was required, or you need to have a offer letter present, and also the council tax, which is a bit confusing for the students. So, can you please shed a light on these factors to talk about the move-in day itself?
When it comes to moving day is the biggest day for us because it's when we get hundreds of students come to the front desk. So to make it as easy and as swift as possible, make sure that you do everything beforehand. So prepare. So make sure that your booking has been accepted, you've paid everything that you need to pay. Make sure that your guarantor documents are all done because if none of these are done, you won't be able to move in. It's always best to make sure that your booking is up to date and ready for check-in. Come arriving on site, you'll need to have your some form of ID, whether it's a passport or a driver's license, something that we can clearly see your name and a photo ID. This will allow us to match your tenancy to yourself, and then we'll be able to start the check-in process. We'll go to your account, make sure everything's done, paid, accepted, and we'll then hand you your key and then show you a bit of information about the site, whether it's a leaflet or some sort of booklet. Again, there's going to be hundreds of people on site, so we won't be free for too many questions. It's best to email us, phone us before check-in if you did have any questions about parking situations, about where to go, where's my room located, all the necessary questions that you may need to know. Because again, our site, for example, we've got 684 people. So that's a lot of questions, that's a lot of people to get checked in. So it's always best to be prepared and know what you need to know. As for the council tax question, so students in the UK are exempt from council tax. Again, different properties work different ways. So how St Crispins now works is you will receive, so me as a manager will send off to Norwich Council a list of everyone who is in the property. This includes name and this includes room numbers. Norwich Council will then send us a bunch of letters addressed to all of you guys and basically say, hey, you're a student at St Crispin's house, can you please prove this? So you'll then need to write back, email back or post back to Norwich Council with evidence that you're a student. So this can be your acceptance letter to university or some kind of other formality to say that you are a student in the UK, and then you don't have to pay council tax. It's all exempt. It's all part of being a student.
That is quite a relief to hear about the council tax that has been exempt for the international student. And also, like the way you mentioned that the move-in day is the biggest day of the year. So I think you will also expect the students to have all the documents sorted up front in order to just replace the hassle that the students may face on that particular day. And also the staff at Yogo, probably they're going to be overwhelmed with the students, but with their experience and their conscience, they can sort the things as much as they can. So, Jack, thank you for explaining that. That will be very useful for the students. So now that you're here, I would also like to ask you very basic questions. Now, most of the rooms at Yogo are furnished, which is a huge bonus for the international students. Can you tell us a list of essentials?
Again, it depends on whether you're in an ensuite or a studio, but I guess it does. Either way, you'll still be purchasing items. So I always say it's best to wait until you're actually at the property to understand what you might need to buy. For example, here at St Crispins, we offer things like microwaves, we offer a lot of storage space. Obviously, you've got your ovens, your hobs, your fridges, your freezers. So it's always best to hold on buying things, go into the room, see what's there, because not all accommodations offer microwaves and fridges and freezers. So it's important to understand what's already there. So there's no point buying items twice. The biggest
Right.
thing is just making sure that you stick with regulations, because we've had a lot of issues with international students bringing their own items from overseas, so from their home countries, which obviously have different amperages and wattages to UK standards. So we've had a lot of times where people from abroad have brought, rice cookers and whatnot, which don't have the same plugs as the UK. So they've blown the sockets in their room, or a fire's happened. So it's very important to be careful with bringing items from abroad, especially electrical items.
Someone might not give away their cooker that they have been using for a very long time in their home country, so they might want to carry it with them. So then again, it's always better to talk to the reception if that particular utensil or that electrical device is compatible with the sockets that the accommodation has. So yes, that is quite an useful information. And at the same time, there are some good stores where you can buy your crockery, cutlery, or the cooking utensils, or even your beds, toiletries. Like Jack mentioned, you need to go and see what might be useful for you after checking into your room. Then you decide what to buy in the day or the day after according to your needs. So that's a comprehensive list. Now, Jack, many students dream of making memories and stories with their housemates. Now, does yoga nurture a sense of community and help students connect with each other, especially from those of different backgrounds and culture? I've seen quite many occasions and festivals that yoga host. Can you just give us a brief sketch of how life here at Yogo might be?
With Yugo, we're quite big on our events. Part of our headquarters team, we do a thing called Live Your Best Life, and with Live Your Best Life, we the staff are encouraged to do at least 3 to 4 events per month. So one a week, really. This can be anything from the gardening club that we do here to the karaoke at the end of the month, or we do pub quizzes, we do cinema events, we do quite a lot throughout the year, and we try to join the events that we host here with like the national events such as Women's Independence Days and just some Paddy's Day and whatnot. So we do a range of events which everyone's invited to. All the events are free, and we tend to bring food, drinks, experiences, and whatnot. So there are lots to do throughout the month. Whether you decide to join or not, or skip this one and do the next one. So we do have quite a bit to do, and we also we have a little suggestion box at the front of reception. So if students think they'd like to, or they'd like to do an event, or they'd like us to make something, host something, then we'll read it and action it. So we're quite open to what we.
I remember the World Foods Day where I could taste the snacks from different countries. That was a very good event, and I think a lot of people get to know each other in that particular event. It is not just a snack, it's also a networking event where you can see and make new friends. Jack, thank you for being here with us and sharing your experience and your advices to the international students. Before we wrap up, what would be your top 3 tips essential for the international students or any students that is going to stay in the student accommodation? So whether is it yoga or elsewhere in the UK, what would be the top 3 essential tips that you would say to the students?
So I would say it is very important to plan ahead, to book as early as possible, make sure that everything is sorted, such as the guarantor, the payments, the acceptance of terms. Ask as many questions as you want. We've got a lovely team here, and most accommodations also have lovely teams because we are here for you guys. So it's important that you understand as much as you can. So there's no wrong questions, there's no silly questions. Just ask them and we'll answer truthfully. And it's about just making sure that it's the right place and you feel like you'll be at home. Because last thing we want is for you to come here and not be happy. Because it's all about you at the end of the day. You'll be here for a year, you're here for your studies, and it's important to be comfortable and happy. Otherwise, being at the wrong accommodation with the wrong people can absolutely affect your studies. You can feel sad or alone or homesick. So it's definitely important to be as comfortable as you can be.
Excellent tips. And as someone who lived here, I can personally vouch for how welcoming and supportive team that you have. Thank you for joining us today. This information will be a lifeline for many future students.
No, my pleasure. Glad I could help in any way I can. And wishing all the new students the very best for their journey to Norwich in the UK.
To our listeners, thank you for tuning in for the Study Abroad podcast. We hope this episode has eased some of the accommodation worries and given you a clearer picture of what to expect. Remember, getting your accommodation sorted early is a key to a smooth start to your academic adventure. Until next time, take care.